Have you ever tried to update your app's UI only to be stopped in your tracks by database issues? It's frustrating, right? If that's you, then you're in the right place. Today we're diving into how to handle asynchronous database calls in Android using Room. I know how annoying it is when your app's UI feels sluggish because of database operations. You're definitely not alone in this struggle. Many developers face this challenge when working with Room. Here's the specific situation we're looking at. One user recently asked, how can I get a callback when using Room's DAO calls, since they are asynchronous? They mentioned wanting to update a text view with data from the database, but were unsure how to do it correctly. Sound familiar? Let's explore this together. So what's the issue here? Room doesn't allow database queries on the main thread to prevent UI lag. This means we need to find a way to retrieve data asynchronously and update our UI smoothly. And don't go anywhere. I've got a great solution at the end that will help you manage your database calls without any lag. To handle the asynchronous nature of Room database calls, the user should utilize LiveData effectively. This allows the user to observe changes in the data without blocking the main thread. The user can set up an observer on the LiveData returned by the getEvent method. This way, when the data is ready, the UI will automatically update without any delay visible to the user. If the user is concerned about performance with large datasets, they can implement pagination or limit the number of items fetched at once. This will help reduce the initial load time. Alternatively, if the user needs to update the UI just once without observing LiveData, they can use a separate thread to fetch the data and then update the UI on the main thread. Fun fact, did you know that the first databases were just flat files? We've come a long way, but managing data efficiently is still a challenge for developers today. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative approach suggested by a user involves using async task to handle asynchronous operations. In their example, they fetch child comments based on a parent ID from the database. This method allows you to retrieve data without blocking the main thread. In the DAO class, the user defines a query to get child discussions based on the parent ID. This allows for efficient data retrieval while keeping the UI responsive. Let's take a look at another answer from another user. An alternative solution suggests using listenable future or observable for your DAO calls. This allows you to handle asynchronous queries without blocking the UI. You can implement this by adding Guava support to your Gradle file. To execute the query, you can call getEventList and add a listener to handle the result. This way, you can update your UI without delays. Here's the pro tip I promised. Always consider user experience when fetching data. Use loading indicators and callbacks wisely to keep your app responsive. And there you have it. You now know how to handle asynchronous database calls in Android using Room. Remember, keeping your UI responsive is key. If you found this helpful, hit the subscribe button for more tips and don't miss our next video on optimizing database performance.